are tuned in to your dose of positivity. I am Marlene Motivates, and as I always say, just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life.
Be encouraged, be inspired, be yourself, you will survive. Just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life.
And to gain further support, join my channel membership. Hey, everybody, it's Marlene of Marlene Motivates. Welcome to this channel. I am your channel for all things positive, motivational, encouraging, and mindset shifting. If you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button. I'd love to have you over here as a part of the Motivators family. Yes, welcome to everybody. If you have not already, please hit the like. I'd really appreciate it. First in, Miss Puzzle Pieces. How are you doing? Happy Tuesday to you. I hope you are well. Member and mod in the house. Another member in the house, Miss Tracy. How are you doing? Welcome, Miss Tracy. Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. So, we are definitely going to get into this topic, okay? And today we're going to be talking about what makes relationships work, romantic relationships, namely. And I think that it's very important to talk about what makes it work because a lot of times we will just say the relationship ended and then we never talk about what is it that we could have done to make it work. Okay. So let's get into those things. We got Word in the house, another member and a mod in the house. Welcome in. How are you doing, Word? Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. And let's get into this topic. So, what makes relationships work? Romantic relationships. These are my honest opinion for things that I have been through in my life, but I'm always welcome. I'm always open to hear what makes a romantic relationship work for you, okay? And we all know that everyone wants a healthy and a loving romantic relationship, but really, what does it take? What does it take to have that? What does it take to either be in it or to find it? Okay. And this is my number one thing. Number one for me is uh, finding somebody that you can be vulnerable with, that you can communicate your wants and your needs, and your partner will support or be that. There are certain things that each person, women and men, need different things. And Communication is going to be different from one person to another, what they have been through. Some may communicate a lot. Some people will communicate by their body language, but in some way, find a way to communicate what you want. And it's important that if you don't understand it, that you are supportive of what the person that you're with needs. It's very hard to not be selfish, because as human beings we naturally are selfish when it comes to ourselves, but it's important to not be that if we want to have a loving and committed relationship. We have to be supportive, we have to communicate, and you have to find the right person. I think that that's very important. And nobody can tell you who that is for you. You just know. I think it's something that it's a feeling, it's the energy, it's the vibration, it's all of that. And when you find somebody that you get on that level, or they get you on that level, and you can just be yourself together, I think you really find something amazing. But it's more than just a spark. It starts with communication. Okay. I would love to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section, or those in the replay. Leave your comments. What makes a romantic relationship work for you? Here's my number two, honesty. If you can't be honest with the person that you are with, it will not work. It will not work. If you think that you can pull shenanigans, if you think you can hold back, or just tell little tidbits, or find some ways to deceive the person that you're with, it will always come back to you. And I'm speaking it from personal experience, receiving it, but also I'm honest enough to say that I've done it too. When I was immature, when I didn't know myself, when I didn't know what it took to be a good person. See, to be in a great relationship, you have to mentally be there. You have to emotionally mature to to be in that space, to be ready to be in a relationship. A lot of times we're always talking about the person who we're with and what they have done to us and what they're not doing, but also, are you a good person to be with? Are you going to be a good partner? Do you know yourself? Have you took the time to get to know yourself and what you want or you need? Or is it just a thing? I'm going to be honest. Is it just a thing that you're just a desire thing, a sexual thing, that you want your needs met in that way? Or are you looking for a lasting commitment relationship? So, two people have to be in that same space where they're both ready to be vulnerable and honest with one another. Hey, goddess of love, welcome in. Got a member in the house. Thank you so much for being here. Really do appreciate it. Happy Tuesday to you. Got my members and my mods in the house. It is a good day. I hope you all are well. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, that's one of the things for me that I think is so important, is honesty. If you can't find somebody that will be honest with you and tell you the truth, and let me tell you something, that being honest in a relationship is not always easy, because I can say, as a woman, sometimes the honesty will hurt your feelings. You don't always want to hear the truth, but sometimes that truth is exactly what you need. It's not always about what we want, it's about what we need. And if you find somebody who knows how to be honest with you, but not in a way to embarrass you, they do it in a private manner, in a way to help you to achieve personal growth. That's a person that is worth holding on to. You're not going to find a person like that just on the street, somebody who will put up with your idiosyncrasies, your drama, your all of that. If you find somebody that you can be vulnerable with, that will be honest with you, and that will help you to grow, you really did find somebody amazing. And I feel like that's a recipe for a win, is finding somebody that you can grow together with. It's an amazing thing. I feel like it's something very beautiful that you can grow in that relationship together. Okay. Now, here is my point number three, everybody. What makes a relationship work to you? For me, I feel like respect is so important. And I hear all the time where men talk about how respect is so important, but on the other side, it's important from a woman's standpoint to be respected as well, more so in our feelings and our opinions. So, based on the person, the individual, every single person is going to be different. But to make a relationship work, you have to find out what is important to that person that you're dating. What is important? What do they want? What do they feel strongly about? What is their opinion? And there are some times where you don't understand it because you haven't been through it. Maybe you don't agree with it, but you still know how to respect each other. And I feel that respect is so valuable in a relationship. It keeps a relationship strong. When the disrespect happens, embarrassing you, putting you down, all of those things, and that's not a healthy relationship. And a lot of people think, oh, all the time I communicate, I talk about what I want and what I need. But how are you talking? Are you doing it in a way where you're wagging your finger, you're embarrassing them in front of other people, you make them feel bad, you put them down to make yourself feel better? There's a lot of times where we were raised in a certain way, that the way that we talk, our communication style is not a healthy thing. And if you find that you've often um, get mad and you shut down, or you yell, you raise your voice, you're sarcastic, these are things that we have to work on as a human being in order to be a better person in the relationship, because both sides wants respect. I know that for sure. There's nobody who wants to be in a relationship where they don't get respect. Oh, a man wants to be respected, a woman wants to be respected, and both sides. I know a lot of times the men don't really talk about, their feelings. They kind of keep their feelings to themselves, but that doesn't mean they don't have feelings, and we shouldn't ask them how they feel. So that mutual respect on both sides is important. Respect the other person's opinion. And I know for certain it's a big deal with me when I have a strong opinion about something and I believe a certain thing. You may not agree. They may not agree with your personal opinion, but if you can be in a relationship with somebody, have an opinion, and you both allow each other to state your opinion, to talk about things, and for it not to get to where you're wrong. I personally don't believe that there is a wrong and a right when it comes to how you feel about things and the things that you actually like and want. Um, I think that the most important thing about a relationship is allowing yourself to just be able to be yourself and to say how you feel and what you're going through, and then that other person that you're with is supportive. A lot of times in relationships there is no mutual respect. I found it many times very, very much disrespectful. I've heard many times on both sides. I've heard a woman disrespect the person that they're with by telling their personal and private business about that person, the things that they have told you in secret. Those things of the heart that's private between you and that person in the relationship. I do think that it's very important to keep things in the relationship, um, and That's going to take me right to my next point, which I feel like is so high on the list for making our relationship work, and that's trust. If you can't be with somebody and trust them, if trust is not in the relationship on many levels, and trust is based on many things. It's um you saying what saying what you're going to do and following through. So, with your eyes closed, I know that I don't have to worry about, okay, they say they're here, but are they somewhere else? Or are they talking about me behind my back? You should have that sort of trust level between the two of you, that I know I can trust you. You know, you can trust me. We're not going to embarrass each other. We're not going to talk about each other behind each other's back. Learning to work on your problems together. And I feel that that's a very important issue sometimes in relationships, is people don't know how to keep their private romantic relationship business within the two of them. Learn to work on your relationship issues with the person that you're with. People will go and run and tell auntie, mama, cousin, friend your personal business about the issue. Oh, he's doing this or she's doing that. Or and you haven't even talked about that with the person. You haven't even give that person the benefit of the doubt, giving them time to work on the issue, but you're steady telling your personal and private romantic issues to another person. I feel like that's so disrespectful. It's mad disrespectful. And on both sides, ladies and gentlemen, please stop disrespecting your relationship by telling your personal and private business, what goes on in the bedroom, what they're not doing, blah blah blah. Learn to work on your relationship issues together and stop spreading your business on social media, within your relative, with other people. Keep your business, learn to zip it on both sides. On both sides. Let's see what I missed in the chat. Oh, hey, Nate. How are you doing? Welcome in. Got a member in the house. Really do appreciate you being here. I hope you're well. And hit the like, everybody. Hit the like. Yes, happy Tuesday to everybody. Thank you all so much for being here. Really do appreciate it. Okay. Okay. So, yeah, that trust issue, I feel like that's a major thing, that if you don't have trust, if you don't have trust in a relationship, what do you have? Because it's just a matter of time before one person or both goes their separate ways and finds somebody else. Because if you can't have trust in your relationship, you're going to look for somebody that will trust you. So, that's important. That's key to keeping that relationship together and making that relationship work. And here's another big deal to making relationships work: supportive of one another's goals. So whatever whatever goals it is that you personally have, you should be in a relationship with somebody who is going to be either supportive, or they're going to be encouraging of you moving forward with your goals. Support one another in each other's goals. And I feel if you don't have support in your romantic relationship, it will never work. It can't be one sided, just about that one person. So it definitely means that you have to choose somebody who knows how to be balanced. Yes, it's important for each other to feel supported and happy in the relationship. And it means that you both, on both sides, if you have this going on, you should be supportive, even if it may not be something you understand, you like, but because you believe in this person, because you care about this person, because you love them, you will support them and encourage them to move forward with their goals. That's highly important. Move forward with your goals. And if you don't have somebody that's going to be that cheerleader, that, the backing, like have your back in everything, you don't have the right person. Let's see what I missed. Hey, Anne Marie, how are you doing? Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Wanted to at least say I'll catch you later, and good topics as usual. If you're on the computer, hit the $ and gifting memberships to see if YouTube gave you any to gift. Okay, I sure will. Thank you so much, Anne Marie. I really appreciate it. Yes, Sunshine Films. Communication is the key. Communication, and I will add to that healthy communication, because you could be communicating something, but it's toxic. I learned that it happened to me my whole life. You can be communicating, but you can communicate in dysfunction. It cannot be healthy. It could be where you're putting down the other person, and it's not even something on purpose. That's what I have found when I was in that stage of my toxicity. I was communicating how I felt, but I didn't feel it was anything wrong. And we usually don't. You know, when you start working on yourself, knowing yourself, loving yourself, you're able to say, I need to fix this. I need to work on me so that I can be better in the relationship for the person that I'm with. Now, I'll tell you all something that it's not until it's not until you want to. You have to want to be in a space to improve. You have to want to be in that space to say, because I care about this person, I'm going to probably go into that uncomfortable space to saying I love you, to letting yourself be vulnerable, to be honest with the person, to grow together, to work on yourself so that not only you can be better, so that it can be a fulfilling relationship. I think that's so key. It's so key to a healthy relationship. When you find the right person for you, you're willing to do things that maybe you would never do before. You find yourself smiling more. You find yourself wanting to do what you wouldn't do, because I'll tell you something, when you're in a bad relationship, you don't want to try new things. You don't want to learn. You don't want to grow. You don't want to do a lot of things. But when you find the right person, a person who is fulfilling to your spirit and your soul, that you have some sort of connection like that, you'll want to be supportive. You'll want to be understanding, and you'll want to do right by this person. Let's see what I missed here in the chat. Nate says communication is a lost art, but also understanding each other. Yes, you have to understand each other for where that person is. And for me, I feel like making a relationship work means that you have to want to make it work. I know from being in a bad relationship, I know that for sure. If that person wanted something from me, because I, number one, didn't respect them, I number two, didn't trust them, you're not going to do great things and grow with this person, because certain needs aren't met, certain priorities, things that are high on the list for you, are not being met. So if you find that you're not going to grow with this person, then it just won't work. I feel like until you come to that understanding that they understand you, you understand them, they give this and I give that. And it's not something to where it has to be the exact same things that you are giving each other. One could be a better listener, and one could be a better, communicator, but you come together and you help each other to be better. And I feel like that's what it's all about. And that's what makes a relationship work. Not saying you don't do this or you don't do that. It's highlighting the good in that individual, highlighting the pros about the person. Most of the time, as human beings, we only want to see the flaws in other people, but we don't highlight our own flaws, right? We don't want to see what we're doing wrong. We don't want to say what we're about, right? Hey, Tamika, how are you doing? Welcome. Mod in the house. I hope you're doing well, Tamika. Yes, so true. Let's see what I missed. Yeah, we have to be in that space to where we absolutely want to grow. We absolutely want to be better. And this is, I feel like, is a very important thing to make a relationship work, is not being so serious. There are some people that's the reason why the relationship just can't work, because it's like there's nothing to them. Everything is always, like, by the book. They want this. You have to have somebody that you can let your hair down with, you can be silly with, that you have laughter, comedy, humor. You can, you know um, laugh together. You can have fun together. If you can't have somebody that you can laugh together, and when somebody does something wrong, you can, make a joke about it and release that and let it go. If you can't have somebody who knows how to laugh and have some fun, you're with the wrong person. And you also can't have a person who makes a joke about everything. A balance is necessary, just like all of these things that I've been talking about. You have to have a balance. You can't have somebody who is uptight, Well, I can't say everybody. Maybe some people like people who are uptight, but I know I can't personally have somebody who's uptight, because I have to laugh. I have to have somebody like that. So these are the things that are important to me. Every single one of you motivators, what's on your list is going to be different. Okay. But I think that laughter is so important. That's the whole reason we should be together, is to fill each other's voids. Exactly. Yeah. Fill in each other's, I can't think of the word, but yes, voids, but it's another word I was thinking of, but all of that. Thank you so much, Puzzle Pieces. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for the super sticker. And you know what we got to do now? When the super chat hits, I got Panda ready for you, Miss Nexie. Thank you so much, Nexie. I really do appreciate it. I really appreciate you and that super chat. So let's get back into, I think I have two more points. Let's see. I just did laughter. Okay, so I got three more points here. Um, what makes relationships work? Point number 7, taking accountability. Taking accountability, right? So every person doesn't like to have flaws, but every single person has them. Every single person has flaws within themselves. But that's what makes a relationship work, is saying what they did. This is what I did. I was wrong, you know. And another one is to apologize for, when you may have come off, aggressive, unkind, you know, not supportive, not understanding of the other person. That taking accountability, it's a major thing for making our relationship work. If a person can't say, this is what I've done. I'm sorry for what I did. And not just saying, I'm sorry for what I've done, but putting it into action. Because I'm sorry for what I've done, I'm not going to do it. It's not that you're going to have somebody who's always going to be like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, and keep hurting you and keep doing wrong to you. But, making a conscious effort to be be themselves, acknowledge their faults and their wrongs, and be accountable for their action. I feel it's just nauseating to me, a person who can't say what they've done. I don't like that. And the reason why I say that is because that used to be me. I was that woman. I didn't like to say what I did. Um, always, that thing that always thinking that what I do is right, always thinking that what I did do is perfect, and nobody can stay up, hold up to that standard. Everybody says unkind things, mean things, or something like that. But it takes a real woman or a real man to say, "This is what I did. Did I hurt your feelings? I'm sorry. I apologize," and do so with sincerity. Let's see what I. You're funny. Yes, these points can be used to make yourself a better person, let alone a better mate. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I said that to be in a good relationship first, as a woman or as a man, you have to put in work into yourself to be a person who is good in a relationship. And a lot of people don't want to do that. People don't want to put in the work to get to know themselves, to be a good friend, to work on their past, to be accountable, to learn respect, to learn about kindness and forgiveness and all of those things. And until you learn those things, a relationship is just not going to work. It takes both sides being two mature people who know themselves, love themselves, and have something to bring to the table together. Okay? Full grown. Both parties have to be full grown. Yes. So important. Love yourself, build yourself up, and also be wise in your relationships decisions. Yes. Um, and I think that's something that a lot of people don't want to acknowledge, that part. Be wise in your relationships decisions, because at the end of the day, you can be upset for what a person is doing to you, but you also have to acknowledge, I'm the one that chose this person. I chose to be with this person. And if you can't be with somebody and be respected and all of these other things that we've been talking about, then you're not with the right person. A relationship is only going to work when you find somebody who is not toxic, who is a good communicator, who knows how to be honest, and who will allow you to just be yourself. Um, I know a lot of people do it and it doesn't make it right, but a lot of times people will get into a relationship and think that they can meet somebody, like them, love them, and then think that they can change them. You can't change anybody and make them into what you want them to be. All somebody can be is themselves, and you have to either take it or leave it. Okay. So, yeah, that's a big one, taking accountability. And this is another one, being strong when the other is weak. Ooh, you know, that's what Sunshine Films was talking about earlier, about filling in the voids of one another. So what one person has, that's the highlight, and what the other person has is, the strength. So the two of you together will balance each other out. Not to embarrass it, not to say, oh, you should be like me, because with my personal growth, I've learned that not that you want somebody to be a mirror image of you, to be just like you, but somebody who can fill in what you don't understand, what you're not like, what may be the opposite of your personality, and they teach you something, you grow together. So finding you somebody that will be strong when you're weak, and will be there to lift you up, not in just literally, or physically lift you up, but mentally lift you up, spiritually lift you up, emotionally lift you up, not embarrass you, not put you down, not say, oh, don't cry. I don't like when you cry. Let me tell y'all something, that if you can't cry, if you can't be vulnerable with somebody that you're with, who are you going to be vulnerable with? There should be nobody else. And I don't like that. That's one of my major pet peeves. I will never go back to that again. Ever. I don't play about those games. Mm-mm. If you can't be with somebody and they don't allow you to be weak with them, if you can't let down your defenses, if you can't just, have for them to be a soft place for you to fall, get away from them. And this is a big one why relationships don't work. But there has to be some sort of agreement on money matters. They say that um, over 50% of the reason why people divorce is because of money disagreements. Okay. Over 50%. So, however it is, I'm not telling you guys what to do with your money and all of those things. I'm just saying that the both of you have to come to an agreement on money. And it won't get better if it starts off in the beginning and you disagree about money matters. It will not change. You have to come to an agreement about money matters. Who's going to pay bills? Um, what is going to be the spending limit? Who's going to do what? And like joint account, separate account, whatever it is. Is your money yours and my money is mine, and we come together, we split bills, whatever is your personal agreement, whatever it is that you want. You have to find somebody in a relationship that agrees when it comes to money. You don't want it to be where you get to the level of marriage and then, oh my goodness, we don't agree on anything. You're arguing all the time about money. You spent this, and why did you spend that? But if you go into the relationship from the beginning, how do you view money? How do you spend money? Are you a saver or are you a spender? Do you have this much debt? What is your credit score? These are important discussions for people to have before they actually commit to each other, because once you commit, I'm telling you that you inherit that person, especially after you say that I do. Their bills, what they didn't pay, what they didn't do with their credit, now it becomes your problem as a spouse of that person. So you have to come to an agreement on money matters, whatever that is. Come to an agreement on that money matters. And this is my last point, and I'm about to put the link in here for my co-host, Miss Nexie. And that is being spiritually aligned, whatever that is for you. Whether it be meditation, deep breathing, religious, having a religious affiliation, whatever is important for you. It's important that each person finds somebody that they align with. You don't want to be in the relationship and then you're always arguing later. An alignment is necessary. Whatever that is that you believe, make sure you find somebody that is going to be okay or wanting to do the same thing with you. Respect, that's important. And make sure that you are aligned together, and it will make you happier in your relationship. I really don't go into much of spirituality on this channel, but I do believe 100% it's important to be aligned on spiritual matters, because one person thinks this way, the other person thinks this way, and it becomes a mess. So, yeah, all of those things. So, these are some of the things that I believe that makes a relationship work. What do you all think? Now I'm going to go to the chat and hear what you all think about what makes a relationship work while I wait on my co-host, Miss Nexie. Let's see. Almost went into a food coma. I saved everyone a plate. Oh, Nate, that's funny. Oh, well, Miss Nexie is here, so I will look at your comments as they come in. Hi, Nexie. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Marlene and chat. How are you guys doing today?
Amazing. Thank you so much.
That's a wonderful, wonderful, and great, great, great topic, by the way.
Thank you.
Um, Taking accountability, I think it's one of the hardest things you can do in any relationship.
Mhm.
I felt that for me, coming from a very long term, we were married for a long time, but it- it's easier for us to blame the other for the not workings of the relationship, right?
Mhm.
But in the process, you forget that you're the one who chose that person.
Yes.
You're the one who allowed this person to go as far as he or she did. But you
Mhm.
see, this part right here, it was very hard for me. I took,
Mhm.
like, I did a side eye, and I took a double look at my therapist when he, hinted as to, what did you do, in the what was your fault in the relationship for it to get this far, right? And,
Yes.
and I did a double take, like, what do you, no, 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 wait, I was the perfect one. And Marlene, there is perfect people just like me, as I thought I was.
Oh, you are the unicorn.
Yes, I'm the unicorn
Okay.
in this site right now. I'm the unicorn. Hear me roar if they roar. I'm not sure if they roar. But taking accountability for what happened in that relationship is probably one of the hardest things we can do as human beings, because that is a very hard pill to swallow. You don't see yourself as as damaged goods, right? Or as damage. You always feel that you did everything possible in this relationship. Why did it turn out this way? Or why did he or she did do this to me? But the thing we need to think of is, why, if it worked for so many years, why is it that it ended up the way it did? It's a two-person relationship. So you must have done something where you're not paying attention, where you're not in the moment with this person. Did you toss them aside when the kids came on? You know what I mean? Did
Mhm.
you get too involved in the kids and forgot about your partner? Because that happens.
Yes.
And that's the accountability I had to take, Marlene.
Mhm.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, that's something that, like you said, it's a hard pill to swallow, to admit to yourself, like, what did I do that is causing things not to work? So we're talking now, we were talking about what makes it work, but also those who are actually in a relationship, how to make your relationship continue to work.
Mm-hmm.
That's important. I think a lot of times that we when we're get into a relationship, right? You should see how people will put in all this work. The guys that every time they go in to get a haircut, clean shaven, smelling
Yeah.
good. They're working out, they're looking buff. The same thing for women. They're always in the gym. You should see new shoes, purse, looking good, hair always on point. But then after they
But
you
that's the thing, Marlene. I'm sorry to interrupt you, because that's the thing that I was, coming to this, is that it worked
Mhm,
for so long because we were both putting the time for it to work, right?
mhm,
We were making it work. We were working on our relationship, our marriage, working on, having our home, working hard outside the home. You said something about money. That's the one thing we never
mhm.
had a problem with, Marlene,
Okay.
because we are both very frugal. I am that type of person, and I don't mind admitting that. I am very frugal. I don't like overspending. I know I have the money to do so, but I don't like doing that. It doesn't bring me any joy,
Mm-hmm.
to have the latest this. So we both were very in sync when it came to that, to the money. We had one account. If he balanced it out, if I spend it, I just had to say the amount and he will take it out of our account. So, those things did work out. I think, going back to it, is there's a lot of I dropped the ball on a lot of things, and I feel that he did too. He dropped it. You make it work for so long, and then you forget how it is that you got to that point where it was working perfectly well.
Right.
Now it takes for you to lose that to understand the mistakes that you made. And then now I'm into, let's say, I'm in the point that if I had another relationship, I know where I'm gonna strive to make it work at, where I'm not gonna go back to that person that I was before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you
and
know
you know what, Nexi, you saying that means that you have to be in a position in your life where you're mature enough and wise enough to say, I've made mistakes. I take accountability for what I've done. I take accountability when I didn't. I stopped appreciating all of the little things that they do. In relationships, sometimes you forget or remember all the time, your clothes was washed, or you didn't have to empty the garbage, or fill up your gas tank, or whatever it is that that person is doing for you. We have to learn to appreciate the small things. I feel like when you get in a relationship, that's the part that is important, appreciating
hmm
the small things that that person does, like, oh, did you get your hair done or a haircut? Oh, I see. Did you lose weight? Like, saying those things, that keeps your relationship strong, because you're still looking at each other in that way, that you're not taking that person for granted for even small things. Mm.
exactly. And the thing is that, we forget that, when our past relationships haven't worked, we forget to go back and see where we made the mistake so that the new ones work.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we don't go there, and if we don't make ourselves aware and accountable, moving forward, relationships are going to end the same way. We have to take that time to look back and say, okay, where could have I have improved a little on this, or when was it that I lost touch with this person, or I disconnected? Why, didn't I voice my concerns or my likes or dislikes in that relationship? You have to go through all of the things that haven't worked on other relationships
Mm-hmm.
and make yourself go there, work on those things, because if you don't, moving forward, the same thing is going to happen. You've noticed those people that go through relationship after relationship after relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and you see that pattern, that it is because they haven't worked on themselves. Relationships can work, but again, it's a relationship of two people. Not just the one person can be doing everything and the other one, it's not really putting much into it, because eventually, and I don't care who it is or how tight you think you are with that other person, I don't care who it is, eventually you start seeing the pattern. You're taking advantage of me. You're
Mm-hmm.
not appreciating what I do for you. You're not even taking into account my feelings, my likes or dislikes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, for me, coming from something like that, and a fulfilling relationship of many years, I had to say, wait a minute, if it worked for that long, then what happened? Although it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't something that I came to on my own, somebody had to point it out at me, and it hurt, because
Yes.
I was like, no, 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 wait, no, listen, this unicorn right here, which is very, very perfect and special, did nothing wrong. Didn't you just hear what I said? He did it. So I had to
Mm-hmm.
go back and see all of the years that I neglected the relationship
Mm-hmm.
because I was wrapped up in something for me, or something for the kids, or whatever it was. But I did make a mistake too. in
Right.
that relationship. It wasn't just him. So
Right.
now I can work on those things, and I can remind myself, hey, 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 you know what? If you're going to start something, work on yourself first.
Right.
Don't go back to being your old self wrapped up in everything else. So the other person has to take accountability too, because
Yeah.
not voicing those things to your partner, that sometimes can create to that partner to take you for granted.
Yeah. And when in the beginning of a relationship, like things can be one way, but relationships evolve. You can't expect the person to be the same person they were when you met them. Everybody's going to grow, like different things, make changes. And you have to allow room, mercy, grace, whatever it
Hmm.
is that you want to call it. Allow people room to grow. And
Hmm.
I think that was a big deal for me, that I had to admit that as a woman, I wanted them to stay how they were when I met them. And
Hmm.
that's not reasonable. That makes no sense. You can't, I wasn't staying the same. So why did I expect them to stay the same? And it's one of those things where you have to be like, that's not reasonable. That makes no sense.
Exactly. I've had I was in a when I was going through school in a counseling session. I was just standby for my mentor was the one going through this. You know how when you're in med school you go through your years
Hmm.
that you have to work before, I mean, train before you actually work. I was there with my mentor, and he's a counselor, a psychologist, family practice. And I
Hmm.
remember there was this couple that came in. She kept on voicing certain things that she had a fear of bugs, spiders, and everything. And he had the tendency of every time he saw a spider, he would throw it at her or show it her something, and he wasn't taking into consideration her phobia, her fear, her because she was very paranoid, but he thought it was funny.
Yeah.
And so it's not a big deal. I'm not saying just because I'm throwing people, I'm saying names or anything. It's just that the fact that this person little by little was killing this other person's love for them because of the way they were acting. They were not being
Mhm.
proactive and saying, hey, wait a minute, she is afraid of this, so let me
Yeah.
not do this, let me not prank her. Oh, I was just joking. And the thing is, it's not a joke for her, it's a joke for
Yeah.
you. You think it's funny, you're not afraid, and that's okay. But don't go there with somebody else. And those are the things that
Yeah.
we need to take into account, Marlene, is that what works, like what we think it's funny, it can be very, very, very damaging on a relationship. We have to,
Yeah.
hey, Rachel, we
Hey,
have to make
Rachel.
sure.
Hey, Sirius.
Hi, serious. We have to make sure that we know our partners well enough so that we don't go there with them. If this person has fears, phobias, or whatever it is, don't tease them. Help them. See how you can help them. Maybe,
Mhm.
go to therapy with them, or buy them a book they can read, something that they can. Don't make fun of that, because whatever is not real for you and it's a joke, for that person, it's very real. It's a fear
Mhm.
that they cannot control. And that can
Right.
kill a relationship. So we have to be mindful of the partner we're with, their likes and dislikes, their fears, what brings them joy, what makes them um the smile like a kid, whatever it is that brings them
Yeah.
that joy and that comfort. We have to be that for that person, or things are not going to work out.
Yes. Thank you so much, L Legend of Oz. Thanks for sharing it out, and thanks everybody for the likes. And in addition to what you were saying, Nexi, that's one of the things that, when you're in a relationship, that's why I said it takes two people to be mature.
Mm-hmm.
And a mature person can see if something makes your partner uncomfortable, it embarrasses them. Don't take it lightly. like, oh, because that's not a big deal for me, and it makes that person uncomfortable, sad, whatever. Respect, that's a part of respecting one another, allowing, like, no, don't do that, don't, I don't, she doesn't like that, or he doesn't like that, or don't talk to them like that, or whatever it is. But that's a form of showing respect for the other person, not doing things that you know that the person doesn't like, and just like, oh, I'm just joking, and it's not a
Mm-hmm.
joke to the other person.
Exactly. That's how relationships work. And another thing for me, and I'm putting back to my relationship, Marlene, because like I said, it worked for so long, right? And
Mhm.
the last 5 years before, the separation, I had noticed things, but I did nothing about it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I did nothing, and that's the thing that I go back in time. Is it, was I upset? Was I resentful? Was I already my foot out of that relationship? Why is it that I didn't go back and make it work? Right?
Mhm.
And talk to this person about the things that I thought was not working in that relationship.
You know what? I'm gonna insert something into that next. I think it's one of those things, like a combination of a few factors. I think it's sometimes when we get in these relationships, sometimes we'll be like, I got them, you know? Oh, I got them. Hook,
Yes.
line, and sinker. That's mine.
Subconsciously.
Yes. Not really that you're saying it out loud, but in your mind, be like, I got I got them. But on top of that, it can be also, you start to take the person for granted.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, just little by little, it's just like chipping away at the relationship. Oh, oh, I filled up your gas tank. Okay, not even saying like thank you. Consider certain things. All of those things.
You take
It's
him for granted.
you take them for granted, and it's like drifting away, like a boat drifting out to sea. It's like very subtly, you just push off, and then next thing you're doing something, and you're in the middle of the ocean. That's how it can be in a relationship. You can drift away from each other just by little tiny things, being rude to one another, not spending quality time together, not being compassionate, losing respect for one another. It's a lot of things, little by little, and then next thing, there's no relationship at all. It's a breakup.
Mm-hmm. And that is so true, Nate.
Yeah. Yeah. Be considerate of everything with you and your partner. Yeah.
And that's the thing, is that when you're in a relationship, taking the other, as you said, Marlene, and it's that part of, yes, I mean, we've been together for so long, yes, that's fine, we got this, we don't need to, we'll talk about it later, because that's the one mistake that a lot of us make. When we don't like something they do, or we don't appreciate, maybe them taking too much out of our account, you know what I mean, or them wasting money, or them not working enough, maybe things. When we don't like certain things, I'll talk about it later.
Hmm.
And later never comes, and
Yes.
that eats at you, because even though you haven't spoken to this person about what's bothering you, you expect them to already know. And that's not
Oh,
true.
mind readers.
Yes, and
Read
that's
my
not the fun.
mind. Read my mind.
You should know what's bothering me. It's like there's 1,000 things that bother you a day. So going back to that, is sometimes we drop the, like you say, we drop the ball right then and there. And so instead of us coming out and saying, hey, you know what, let's sit down and talk. I know it's going to be uncomfortable. I know we both are probably going to be upset, but we need to talk about this now.
Hmm.
you know a lot of times we don't do that, and that's when a lot of relationships that are good, because I've seen people that are in these relationships long term, and they get along so well, and all of a sudden you find out that they have broken up, separated, and you're like,
Hmm.
but they got along so well, like what
Yeah.
happened? you know
Yeah.
and and you come to find out that there was a lot of things that they were just throwing under the rug, That's it. Just sweep it under there, sweep it under there. And it became a huge mountain, a huge volcano that just erupted one day.
Yeah,
So moving forward for us, it is important for us to be in the moment with that person. I'm not saying be a mind reader, but at least know that the different side looks on your person when she's happy, he's happy, unhappy, worried. Ask questions, be
yeah,
there in that moment for this person. And even if it takes time for you to get that answer back, just continue to be there. Just continue to ask questions, continue to be present, because sometimes when you lose relationships that you have been in for a long time, the regret that moving forward is humongous. It's huge.
yeah. And I want to add something to that, Nexie, because like you were saying, the regret and everything, but you have to be in the space to say, okay, I want you to tell me how you feel, right? But like take it easy. Don't tell me too much. So
No.
we can't like make it be something like walking on eggshells. I want you to
Mm-hmm.
tell me how you feel, but I don't tell me too much, or don't say anything that will hurt my feelings. Um, we have to allow it to be what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the things that we need to work on, sometimes the reason for the problem is us and
Mm.
what we're doing, and we may not like it, but we need to swallow that pill if we want to save our relationship. And I want to highlight this comment from Butter Roll Boutique. She said, I felt like the fail of my marriage was all his fault.
I'm with you on that.
um
I felt the same way too.
I don't know, the like that resonated, the like that hit me in my spirit, like
As
I
perfect as I was.
yeah. But I think everybody feels that way when
Yes.
a relationship breaks up. And that's the initial beginning thing where it's they did. But after you start thinking, like, and if you're 100% honest with yourself, you can be honest what you didn't do, what the times where you didn't support them, or the time you didn't listen to them. It was something. Or I don't get into it too deep because this is YouTube, but also learning what each other's needs are when it comes to the bedroom chronicles. Okay, that's
Mm-hmm.
important too. It can't just be, oh, it has to be when I want, because nobody wants to be with somebody that is all about what they need.
Unless it's as perfect as me. But going back to Butter Roll Boutique, the same thing happened. I thought, I mean, when I went to my therapist, I told him, he did this and this and this and this and this, and I had a list, a humongous list of the things that
Mhm.
he had done, and that he caused this marriage to end, and the breakup and the why, and and then when I guess he was tired of listening to me, because that's the only thing I can attribute to this reaction. When he was done listening to me, he just looked at me, and then he asked me, so what did you do for the relationship to end this way? What did you contribute for this relationship to break up, to end like this? What was your faults in that relationship? And I was like, what? Didn't you just hear me? I just told you he did all this.
Yeah, I was like, do you have something in your ear? Like, is
I
something stuck in there? This is about me.
but I'm like, wait, am I speaking English? Did you hear? Is this thing working? Because that reaction is like, whoa, wait. So you said that's my fault, and that was my next thing. So you're telling me it's my fault? And he said, when you calm down and you can understand where I'm coming from, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, what role did you play for that relationship to go this far and end this way? Ah,
Mhm.
Marlene, I got up out of that seat with so much force and so much speed that I think there was smoke coming out of me. Like you said the other day out of that cartoon. Yeah, there was smoke coming out of my little feet getting out of that office.
Right.
Because that is one of the hardest things that you're going to do,
Yep.
is to face that part of you, that
Yep.
you had a lot to do with what happened in that relationship, why
Yep.
it works and why it didn't work, because I was focusing on all the things that why it worked and it was all about me. Right, that he didn't have to put up with
Yep.
my sassiness. Sometimes he didn't have
You're
to put up
you're
with my
you're beat
mood.
beat beat. You're beat beat beat.
Yeah, he didn't have to put up with my greatness, right? And
Yeah.
so going forward, now into the next relationship, I understand the role I played
Mm.
for the relationship to work. It's the same thing for that relationship not to work and end up the way it did. Yes, we all have faults, one more than others, but we both in a relationship do. One for not speaking out, right? Sometimes it's
Hmm.
for speaking too much.
Yeah.
One is for not dedicating time, the other one for
Yeah.
needing too much time. So we both are at fault, but communication is
Yep.
key to any relationship. And
Yep.
that is one of the things that a lot of us are lacking,
You,
the
you know.
ability to communicate properly,
Yeah.
not just talk,
Properly. Yeah.
not just talk.
And you know what I had to learn, Nexie, and it's like I'm so embarrassed. Like my face is hot saying this, but I had to accept that I don't always do what my partner needed. That was hard for
Mhm.
me to swallow.
Mhm.
I was like, wait, I me, my, I was like,
This
what?
perfection, really?
I was like, me? But yeah, you do have to, if you're going to put it out there and say what that person did, you also have to say, what did you do? And that's why I said, always working on yourself, whether you're looking for a relationship or you're in a relationship, you should always be working on yourself so that you can be a better person. And when you're a better person, you're also a better person to the person that you're with.
Exactly. And Marlena, a lot of times we think we're so great. We think like we're like this perfect specimen, right? You bring
Mhm.
light to everybody. I'm the light. I'm beaming light on every. I'm celestial. I'm sorry. I had to go there. Um, you think that you're bringing light, you're enlightening your partner, you're making them better, and in reality, is you're probably the darkest part of the relationship, and you don't see it
Mhm.
because you're so wrapped up in what your friends and family tell you that you are, that you don't see your flaws.
Yeah, and next thing, this is the reason why it's important for us to ask the person that we're with, how are we doing, not how we think we're doing. And you have to be ready for that response. Like, okay, okay, take a deep breath, take a drink. Like, okay, I'm ready. How am I doing in the relationship? Take things one thing at a time, and then not when they tell you to don't like jump down their throat. Be like, okay,
Oh, you
and
you
then
were ready.
yeah, and then you have to say, now, okay, you tell me that. Now, how can I make that possible for you to be happy? That's personal growth. And most people never get there. Once somebody tells them what they need to work on, they shut down. Like, okay, I'm done. I'm gone. And then they start over talking them, putting them down, whatever. And you do this and you no, it's not about what that person is doing. It's about what you're doing and learning to take accountability of that.
Yeah, and I mean, you did that. Let me take a drink. I was like, okay, let me see. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. And I was expecting all this perfection, right? Tell me, I mean, seriously, am I doing something wrong here? So I wasn't ready for that, that
Mhm.
conversation. And instead of, overreacting, I was just shocked of all the things that I thought I was doing perfectly fine, but I was really not doing it. I
Yeah.
was not really being in the moment. I was more preoccupied with everything else, and I wasn't really being a partner, right?
Hmm.
And another thing, Marlene, is when you come to this point, or where you can talk to your partner, you should be able to talk to your partner, to the person you're with, about your strong, how strong you are in the relationship, how weak you are, and the different parts. If you cannot do that
Hmm.
because that person either doesn't want to talk about it, or that person will scream to the high heavens or whatever, that's not a healthy relationship, you know to improve. And that's the thing that I think, and actually, no, I don't think, I know I lost, we lost in our marriage, is that we didn't take that time to voice, our likes and dislikes. We were so busy with life that part of the beginning of our marriage, or the first 10 years of the marriage, we forgot how to do it going forward as the kids started growing up. So, I had to take accountability for that too. Not putting aside, the time to be in the moment with my partner, that it had not have to be all about the kids. We had each other too. We
Yeah.
forget that, which is, I admire now when people say, we're going on date night.
Yeah.
And those are things that you don't think about when you're there. And I like that couples do that now,
Yeah.
because on date night you can speak about you, and you can, be a couple again, a single
Yeah.
couple again.
Yeah.
But those were the things that I had to take into consideration, and ask my husband for forgiveness,
Right.
how I failed him in the marriage, because I did. And it's
Mhm.
important for us to take accountability and do that, even if you are separated, and maybe you can go back and be together again, but at least it's going to be a clean slate.
Yeah. My mom always said this when, my parents were married 52 years. So I know that they went through many ups and downs. And my mom always said that, say, our relationship is made up of two good forgivers. So it's one of those things like you forgive, not that you forget, but she said, but you forgive so that you don't bring it up again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, we talked about that, we're going to release that, today is a new day, let's talk about this. And
Mm-hmm.
that, I think that's what makes a good relationship work.
Work,
It's,
exactly.
yeah, it's not throwing things in there, like when somebody does something and you say you forgive them but later on you bring it up. I can't stand that.
Mm-mm. No.
Mm-mm.
If
I
you
can't
forgive
stand it.
someone, that's it. You've forgiven them, you move on. It doesn't mean that you are going to be in the same place again. No. But you're moving on to
Mhm.
hopefully be in a better place. Right?
Right.
I feel that we forget a lot that, when we started the relationship, we used to talk for hours on the phone, or when we used to go out on dates. We will talk about everything and anything for hours. And I feel
Mhm.
that once we get into the relationship, we forget that part of us,
Yeah.
because responsibility comes, kids comes, or whatever. It doesn't matter, but we should never forget that part. We should never forget where we started from, the starting point, what
Yeah.
made us fall in love with each other.
Yeah.
And that's the part that, again, I had to acknowledge that I made, that I contributed to a lot of the things that happened. I had to acknowledge that. Now, moving forward, going to a new relationship, I'm gonna have that in mind if I ever do, which I said I will never. But let's say I would keep that in mind. That, hey,
Right.
communication is key. Don't neglect the relationship because you get busy.
Right.
If you
And
don't like something, voice it. Go
yeah,
ahead, Mark.
and then when you voice it, pull back and
Mm-hmm.
allow that person to voice it. Don't over talk the person, don't hoover, don't get mad, throw a tantrum, roll your eyes. I know that it's hard not to, because when somebody's saying something that you don't like or you don't
It
agree with,
hurts.
you tend to want to shut down or try to dismiss it. But if you care about the person and the relationship, you'll like you bite your tongue and just listen, because what they're telling you is important to them. It may not
Exactly.
be important to you, but that's something that I had to learn as a woman, that it was not just about what I wanted as a woman, it's about what they needed as well.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, is that sometimes we forget that, our partners have needs too.
Hmm.
And sometimes they keep it to themselves because we're all about our needs. And, another thing, Marlene, is that I always did, and I remember this, is that, when like you said, when you're in the bedroom you're by yourself with your partner, even if we were upset during the day, whatever happened, we will always talk it out and not go to sleep mad. That's the one
Hmm.
thing we always did, because it was important for us not to be like that again, not to be like that anymore. It was important, and that's something I appreciated, because it was something that he brought into the mix, right? It wasn't something I did. I brought up. He is the one who taught me that, hey, we can be upset all day, whatever it is that is bothering us, it's okay, but we're gonna talk it out now. Go to sleep in peace, and wake up. It's a new day.
Exactly. And that's right, Nate. If you can express yourself and be open with the person you're with, that's a huge problem.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Exactly.
So, so,
Exactly.
so great topic, Nexie. When I say
Yes, it
great topic,
was.
I mean great topic. And I almost don't want it to end, but I have to, because I hear tip taps at the door. Time is up for me. So I really have enjoyed this discussion, and thank you all so much for being here, for everybody putting in their thoughts to what makes relationships work for them. Everybody is a work in progress, but we just have to do better, motivators. I think that's what's important. Do better, ask the questions, and yeah. So thank you so much, Miss Nexty, for your thoughts as well.
Thank you for having me, Marlene. As always, great topics, great conversations. And thank you, Chad, for putting your 2 little cents there, because we can all learn from each other. Sometimes we read comments and we're like, oh my God, I did that too. I
Mhm.
forgot that part about me. So it's always good to have, this conversations, and try to be better on the next
Yes.
relationship. Or if we're still in it, try to make
Yeah.
it better.
Make it better. I couldn't
Mhm.
said it any better, Miss Nexie. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Yes, and to everybody who is joining me first for the first time here, subscribe to Marlene Motivates channel. I do live streams, doses of positivity, and on Sundays we do the motivated podcast. Also, I have interviews over here, so it would be awesome if you would hit the subscribe button and leave me a like. And like I say over here, every single video, live stream, and podcast, just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life. Thank you, Nexie and chat.
You're welcome, Marlene. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Be encouraged, be inspired, be yourself, you will survive. Just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life.
Another great topic. And let me put the member song.
forgive me. I love me. I've been blessed that I have made it through. I'm stronger and worthy. I am enough now. What about you? I forgive me. I love me. I've been blessed that I have made it through. I'm stronger and worthy. I am enough now. What about you? Ooh, oh.